Okay, I will officially call the meeting to order, and I didn't have my roll call up here, so I need to do that. Although I can see who's here. I am here. Ashley.
Present.
Mark.
Here.
Roger.
Here.
Bijou is not yet. Kelsey.
Yep.
Siri is not here. Sylvia is not here. Do we know? Is Sylvia?
She's
Yeah.
out of town for a
She's
while.
So she was. That was a planned absence. Okay, so we were that one. And Doug. Wonderful. And we have quorum. Next on the agenda is the reading of the land acknowledgement, which Mark has got dibs on because he emailed me like a couple days ago because he was definitely very interested in it. So take it away, Mark.
I tell you ahead of time that I've been to Speak Out's course on writing a land acknowledgement, so I have a little information that makes me not an expert, but zealous nevertheless. One of the things is the land acknowledgement is intended for transformative change, to move beyond performative land acknowledgement, to have genuine support of Native communities. So with that, I intentionally read it a little slower,
All right.
Please.
Take it away.
meditate on it.
Yes.
We meet today in the community of Iowa City, which now occupies the homelands of Native American nations, to whom we owe our commitment and dedication. The area of Iowa City was within the homelands of the Iowa, Meskwaki, and Sauk, and because history is complex and time goes far back beyond memory, we also acknowledge the ancient connections of many other indigenous peoples here. The history of broken treaties and forced removal that dispossessed indigenous peoples of their homelands was and is an act of colonization and genocide that we cannot erase. We implore the Iowa City community to commit to understanding and addressing these injustices as we work toward equity, restoration, and reparations. One of our realities is equity, but also this word reparations, and we're to be intentional about that, and I don't know that there have been many conversations about that. I want to acknowledge that Ashley, our colleague, had a hand in the preparation of this prior to our approval last July. Thank you.
And this is, correct me if I'm wrong, this is the same one, because you did this in joint with the TRC, right?
Yes.
So
we worked
this language
with-
is this exactly the same between the two,
Yep,
right?
Same one between the two commissions, and it was a joint venture to work on the creation of that document.
Okay. Agenda item number 3 is correspondence. So this is in your packet, and this is more just a reminder. Stephanie sent this out earlier too. So, excuse me, a reminder that there'll be 3 vacancies coming up for this. For 3 new 3-year terms starting on January 1st. Obviously, we saw the announcement from Siri as well, so there'll be an unexpired term that will need to get filled in addition to that, which will be a separate appointment by the City Council because there are different lengths of time. They can't consider them together. I was just learning. So we're going to need 4 new commissioners, 3 of which will be for full terms. So please use your connections, your networks, your social media to promote those. I've already seen a couple of those go out today.
Yep.
So I will be doing that later in the week as well. Just a reminder, everybody, to make sure you do that. So the more that you can refer somebody and get some good people, then those are the people you get to serve with. So it's it's in your best interest to find, really qualified people to serve going forward. Any other comments on that or questions? Okay. Next is approval of the September minutes. I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
So move.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion or corrections? Hearing none, all in favor of approving the minutes as written, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Passes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7-0. Next is public comment for items not on the agenda. And I know our 2 visitors are here for other agenda items, so I assume you won't want to make a comment separate from your introduction.
You are welcome
You're welcome
to, however.
in case you need. Hearing none, we'll move on to number 6, which is introduction of newly hired police officer Jordan, is it Shunk? Shuck?
Yep.
Okay. Come on up.
You can just stay in there. Yeah, no.
Hi everyone, so I'm Jordan Shuck. I'm originally from Fort Madison, Iowa, and then I moved to Overland Park, Kansas, and served there with the sheriff's office for a few years. Always wanted to do law enforcement just because I wanted to help people, try to make a positive impact in the community. Recently, I wanted to move back, kind of be closer to family and friends and stuff, and thought Iowa City would be a great place to serve my community. I've had people who friends who went to school here, family who went to school here. They said Iowa City's a great town. I've had people who worked for the police department, and they also said it's a great place to work, great place to serve, and that civil service is, just very big part of what they want to do, and building relationships with the community is a big part of their operation and stuff. So, thought it was awesome. Thought it would be a good fit, and that's kind of why I chose to come here.
Cool. Any questions for Jordan?
How long total? You say you serve in other area first, so how long total you been in a law enforcement?
Total, a little over 2 years.
Okay.
And you're from Fort Madison?
Yeah, I'm from Fort Madison originally.
Cool. My wife's from Fort Madison.
Oh, awesome. Nice.
Yeah, family in West Point.
Oh, okay.
All that stuff too,
Yeah.
so.
I was just in West Point for a wedding actually, so saw some old friends and
Cool.
yep, nice little area.
Besides serving as a police officer, what else have you done in the community, or in Madison or anywhere else?
When I was in high school, I did a few community service things. I forget the name of the program. I believe it was my freshman and sophomore year, but we would just go to the animal shelters and stuff like that and try to do stuff for them and help out. Or I believe also there was some type of fundraising thing we did in the school to maybe help get some money, but I just don't remember what the cause was for. I know I did it for a few years though, and other than that, haven't done too much, but just try to volunteer when I did and try to do the best that I could.
Are you willing to?
Yeah, I think building.
She's recruiting you for something, it
I am
sounds like.
not.
I can tell.
I am not. I am not. I'm just making sure our police officer are connecting with the community. Besides being a police officer, are you willing to go in a community and introduce yourself and, have that connection so you can have that one-on-one or direct relationship? That's all.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think it's important just because sometimes our job can be seen one-sided, where maybe we're trying to help the people, but maybe people don't think that way. And, you could show up on their worst day or, someone's upset and stuff, and it doesn't seem like you're trying to build relationships with that person. But I think when you see us do good deeds and stuff like that, goes to show that we are trying to do that. So, I think community service is important, and I would love to reach out in a different way besides being in a uniform, and connect with people and hope to make a good rapport.
Thank you.
So, yep.
You want to do our normal kind of quick introductions? So do you want to start, Kelsey? I'm looking down that direction.
Yeah,
So.
sure. Well, thanks for being here. Thanks for your introduction. My name is Kelsey Pelchance. I joined the commission only this past summer, but my focus is on preventing mass violence and atrocities in my career and in my work, including addressing and preventing and reducing our violence within cities around the world. So it's great to learn a little bit more about you. Great to meet you.
Hi, I'm Doug Kolash. I've been on the commission since September, so this is my second meeting.
You're an old vet now.
I
right?
know, right? Yeah. Native of Iowa, graduated from University of Iowa. I work in healthcare IT, and I am also the president of the LGBT alumni group from the university. So, welcome.
Thank you.
My name's Ashley Lindley. Currently have the pleasure of serving as the vice chair this year of the commission. This will be my third year at the end of the year with the commission. And I am sort of the catch-all nonprofit professional. I've done just about anything you can think of in this town that has to do with social services. I'm currently, however, a graduate student at the university. I'm getting my master's in social work and working with the Rape Victim Advocacy Program on comprehensive violence prevention initiatives. So if you ever have any questions about that stuff, I am happy to answer them, but thank you for coming.
Which is one of the reasons why we do this too. So it's hopefully you'll start to hear from some connections here, and that's what we're here for, is for you to reach out if you have questions, or if you need a connection to a certain part of the community. We represent lots of different parts of the community throughout Iowa City. My name is Jason Glass. I'm the chair this year. This is my third year, so my term is ending at the end of this year, and will be going off the commission. I teach at the Tippie College of Business here at the University of Iowa in human resources and leadership courses. What else? I'm a native of Fairfield, so same general Southeast Iowa thing, right? So same conference. I'm also in the National Guard, so I've been in the 34th Army Band for almost 30 years, which is based in Fairfield as well. And what else? I think that's it. So welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
My name is Roger Lusala. This is my second full year on a 3-year term. I'm a native of Congo. Democratic Republic of Congo. Got to Iowa through a way of California, did my undergrad here. I came to Iowa to do my grad school and fell in love with the people of Iowa, so I've been here over 20 years. I'm the CEO of a local company here in town that serves people with disabilities, so that's where a lot of my passion lies. On my off time, I do coach soccer, so I have been coaching soccer in the community for 20-some years. I play soccer in college, and I also play all my life, so I connect not only soccer here, but soccer in Africa as well. So with the local soccer club here, we do uniform recycling. So kids get new uniform every year, so at the end of the spring season, they donate them to me. I get them all clean, we pack them up, we send them to Africa. So 2 years ago, we dressed about 21 teams with recycled uniforms. So what else? I'm a big advocate of diversity and equity and inclusion. Serve on several boards here in town, on Kirkwood Community College and Iowa City School District Special Education as well. So welcome to Iowa City.
I'm Mark Priest. I'm a retired Christian pastor. My family immigrated from Germany. I was born in Iowa. Actually, we moved to Iowa City when I was 2, and then we moved away when I was 3. So then I came back when I was 57. I've been here for 15 years. We live on the west side by Willow Creek. This is my 3rd year on the commission. I was on the Human Rights Commission in Dubuque for 5 years, long ago when I lived there. And like these, I'm involved in a lot of support things, but I'm looking back at the fire chief, and Fiona Johnson and I are good friends because I deliver AEDs to nonprofits. I've delivered 41 of them.
Yep, we've been doing CPR.
We arrange CPR training for these nonprofits that get the AEDs. It's been a real inspiration for me. My daughter's 46 now. She was 3 when I pulled her out of a swimming pool. That's where my zeal is. I'm married to Leslie, and she takes great care of me.
My name is Bijou Maliabo. I am also from the Republic Democratic of Congo. Been in America for 24 years. I'm a mother, graduate from the University of Iowa. I'm an interpreter in court, school district, immigration, and everywhere else. I'm a community leader. I do a lot of stuff in the community. That's why I'm asking you so many questions, because you'll be seeing me a lot. I serve in so many other different boards here in town, in Johnson, Lynn County, and Polk County. What else? Oh, this is my 4th year, 4 terms here as a human rights, and I'm a big believer in human rights. I'm a big believer in impacting and educating people to know better so you do better. So that's why I'm here. Thanks.
So any questions for us?
I don't have any questions, but I'm glad I got to be here and meet all you guys and hear your guys' backgrounds, what you do.
Yeah.
I think it's awesome that you guys are involved in so much. So.
Yeah, well, welcome again to Iowa City, and all the best to you in the new job. And if there's anything that we can do to help you or support you or answer questions or get you connected with parts of the community, then please don't hesitate to ask. So really glad to have you here tonight.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
You bet.
Thank you.
All right, intro number 2, Chief. Well, you heard all of our intros, so you guys. So that I'm glad you're here for that. So we don't have to repeat ourselves. So tell us a little about yourself.
Yes. Well, first and foremost, thanks for the invitation to come over this evening. I've got to spend some time with Stephanie here. I don't know, 2 weeks or so. We took a little road trip to Des Moines. So got to learn a little bit about the commission. About me, I've been in the fire service for 26 years. I'm a native of Central Iowa, not Eastern Iowa. I'm learning quickly.
Where exactly?
Des Moines.
Okay.
Des Moines. My previous job, I was the assistant fire chief in Urbandale, Iowa. Enjoyed my time in Central Iowa. And I was fortunate enough to be selected back in April as the next fire chief here in Iowa City. Spent my first couple of months living downtown, away from the wife and the kids, so it was an interesting experience, to say the least.
All the college students around?
Yeah, I learned a lot. My nephew was a student here at the time, so that was kind of fun to be with him. But we have a house over on the east side. Enjoy it. Don't enjoy the road construction, but certainly enjoy living over there. It's nice. It's very quiet. So I have been the fire chief since April, learning the fire department. I think we have a great organization and a lot of support within the city. Been married for 26 years. Got a couple of kids. They're pretty good. I like them a lot. Got a couple dogs, brought them along with the trip. So we're doing good. My parents actually just moved into our home on Friday. So we're going to go ahead and take care of them. Let's see. I'm a graduate of Waldorf College, so not the university. So I'm learning a bunch of new things here in the community. Iowa City was a destination for me professionally. When the opportunity came around to come to Iowa City, I was very excited about the opportunity and still am. It's a great community with the things that I was looking for. So I'm here and I'm proud to serve. Back in Central Iowa, I've been fortunate enough to make many friends in the Afghan community. I continue to keep those relationships solid, and a lot of good things going on there. And I believe one of my friends is going to come to Iowa City and start their new life. He's going to be reunited with his family here, hopefully in the next month. So
Very cool.
So things are great, and I'll take any questions you have.
Well, I'll make a comment. One thing I didn't say during my introduction before was that I'm a proud son of a firefighter. So my father was a volunteer firefighter in Fairfield growing up, and then was later fire chief. So went as it was a full-time position as a fire chief. So I grew up in fire stations, or the fire station, more like, and climbing on fire trucks. Then as a teenager, did all the training with them because Dad let me tag along and and learn all this stuff too. So there's no bigger fan of what you do than me sitting up here. So
Thank you. You're welcome anytime to come over and climb on it.
might bring my kids because they haven't had that experience the same way that I have. So
Yeah, bring them over. My kids have had the same upbringing.
Mm-hmm.
They were raised in the firehouses, and neither of them do this for a job, interestingly enough, but nevertheless.
I just admire watching that big truck back in across Gilbert into that garage and not have to take a second shot at it.
yeah, no kidding.
There must be cameras.
There are cameras. The next time you're on Gilbert Street, if I wouldn't encourage you to go out there, but there are actually lines in the street that have been marked that tell the driver that it's safe to turn the truck so it doesn't hit the building on the way out. So it's a very impressive sight to see it.
Better than the Rose Bowl parade.
It's very impressive, yes.
I think it's always been on my agenda to be interested in fire department. That's one part I haven't really been part of. I appreciate a lot what the police department does, the police do, but you guys do also a lot of good work. You put your life, in danger for us, and I appreciate that. I didn't like a lot of Chicago fire. That's why I didn't really pay attention to that, but most of the time now I look at it and I'm like, thank you so much for what you guys do. And I'm willing, probably in November, you'll see me enough over there to try to learn more about you so I can take it in the community for them to learn more about rules and regulation. And maybe you can come over to the community as well and educate them.
I come over anytime, and thank you for your kind words. The fire service has given me and my family more than I could have ever asked for. So I'm truly blessed to be here in Iowa City.
Who won the
Thank you again for coming.
softball game?
We don't talk about the softball game.
Yes.
Sorry, I asked.
It's always next year.
It wasn't pretty, but we'll try better. Maybe we'll pick another sport of some type.
Room for improvement.
little remedial
There
training.
is some room for improvement. They're great firefighters. Maybe not softball.
Well, if they're not great at softball because they've been really focused on being great firefighters, then we're totally fine with that.
There we go.
Right. Yeah, that's our excuse for the day. So that's good. I do want to make a quick comment as to the AED program here in Johnson County. It's absolutely phenomenal what's going on in this community in terms of AED and heart saver type of processes. When I came to town, I admittedly knew very little about Iowa City in terms of the inner workings. I will tell you, within a couple of days of being on the job here, I stopped my car and I hopped out and looked at one of the boxes, took a picture of it, and sent it back to my former fire chief. So that is absolutely incredible work, and I will guarantee you that that will make a difference. There's absolutely no question. So you should be commended for that.
Well, I don't have any question. I just have a comment. I always appreciate the fire department. My previous life, I was a director of residential services for Systems Unlimited and the children home, and I had to work with the fire department a lot because every year the house has to be licensed, and the fire department has to come out and do all the inspections. So I got to know, I think it's Roger Jensen, very well. So because it was more like on a first name basis, because I can always call him, he can always come out and do the inspection. So I appreciate the fire department. And my kids being involved with the safety village.
Oh,
So the fire
fantastic.
department is always, it's an amazing organization. We're lucky to have a great program here in town.
Thank you very much. One thing I would like to say is that we are currently accepting applications for firefighter.
Jason?
That should be said. Although my grandfather was a firefighter, most of his brothers were firefighters. I have an uncle and a father who were fire chiefs, so nothing would make them happier. But that is, National Guard is going to have to be enough.
I understand. But we are out there actively recruiting in the community.
Yeah.
And we really want to get the Iowa City Fire Department brand out there throughout the community and hire as many people to represent Iowa City as possible. So,
Well, I'm not going to apply for that, but if you need an interpreter, because there's a lot of people, I'm here. I can volunteer and interpret for you sometimes.
outstanding.
I speak 5 languages, so French, Swahili, Lingala, English, and Kirega, so.
You got me covered. I'm working on English currently. But we are actively recruiting members of the community to join the fire department. So
Good to know.
We'll
Yeah, we
promote
will help
that.
spread the word.
We'll
Thank you
spread
very
the
much.
word.
All right. Thank you again for coming in.
All right.
Welcome to Iowa City, and all the best in the new position.
all right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful evening.
You too.
Thank you.
You too.
Okay, agenda item number 8, which is the Racial Equity and Social Justice Grant information session. So this is more informational again. So we have the 2 educational sessions. You can see on your agenda who's assigned to those. Now with Siri stepping down from the commission, are you still good for November 9th,
Yes.
Bijou? Okay. I thought you were iffy last time, so I couldn't
Yes,
remember.
I
So,
will.
but you're good. So there'll be the 2 of us. So I want to make sure there were still 2,
Sure.
since Siri won't be there. Great. Okay. And Mark and Ashley you're still on for the next one? Okay, great. So I think we're all covered. In your packets, I think everybody, or Bijou should have those two. Stephanie included the information with the slides and the new application.
So those are just
Yes.
they were just handouts I gave to people who are doing the grants.
Yep.
Oh,
So you have a hard copy of the slides and then
Yeah.
as well. So you
But
just-
if anybody else would
Yep.
like copies of the slides, just let me know and I can definitely print you out a copy, but yeah.
I like a copy. You don't have to print them. You can always, can you email it?
The PowerPoint?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like a copy of it.
You just
Mind
want
sharing
that?
it? Yeah.
Sure, it's good to have his
And
information.
And Bijou, I'll get with you. I'll send you a note. We can probably
Yeah,
chat really quick
let's-
before you do it and make sure we're coordinated on
That'd be nice.
who's doing what.
Sure, that'd
Okay.
be nice.
Okay. Agenda item number 9 is the Human Rights Awards breakfast, which is tomorrow.
If I could just
Oh,
go back,
please.
because I know at the last meeting, Kelsey had asked about translating the application. So I checked with communications, and how they advise that I handle it is kind of like we do accommodations.
Okay.
So if somebody requests the grant in a different language, then I would work with them on
Okay.
getting it.
That's great.
So-
I'll make a note too, and if you want to do the same thing, Ashley, for our information sessions, make sure that we highlight that if anybody's in need of, a different language, that to please let us know and reach out so we can make that happen. Good addition. Number 9, so the Human Rights Awards, the breakfast is tomorrow. I hope you're all planning to be there.
Yeah,
I know. It's really,
I will be there bright and early.
I'll be there.
you must not be a morning person.
I am. I wake up at 6 a.m., but then I'm like, I gotta get out by 7.
It's a nice breakfast,
It's
so
a free breakfast.
Yeah, it's a free breakfast.
So we
So
have to be there at 6:55. So tell me 6 a.m. because
Yeah, pretty much.
Siri told me 6:45, be there, be square.
All right.
She wrote it down.
is she coming?
6:45.
I hope she.
Stephanie,
Gotta start telling
any
Bijou
other
the meeting starts at 5.
I would say between 6:45 and 7 should be.
plenty early?
And I have, if you park in the Court Street ramp, I have permits to get you out, so you don't have to pay to park. It's a hearty breakfast, so there will be fruit and, what do you call the, sausage and biscuits? Biscuits and
Oh,
sausage?
Biscuits and gravy?
Gravy.
Biscuits and gravy.
Ooh,
Thank
now you really got my attention. That's fun. That's good.
Potatoes, scrambled eggs, an assortment of like breads and muffins and
That's right.
pastries and stuff like that. So please come with an appetite. So
Stephanie, could you repeat which parking ramp? Did you say?
it's the Court Street ramp.
Okay.
And the nice thing about that is if you can get a spot on the second level, there's a door into the Hilton Garden Inn that takes you straight to
The elevator.
the elevator.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you.
And the view is on the 12th floor. So.
Yeah, don't go to it.
Yeah, because if you park on the street, I think they start checking meters at 8. So you'd probably be okay, but I can't swear to that. Whereas if you're in the ramp, at least, you're not going to get a ticket and you can get out at no cost.
Just a question, Stephanie. Anything you need Commissioner to do to help tomorrow? I know I was not here at the last
Oh,
meeting.
no, just, nice shining smiles, your badge.
Smile, can.
Yeah, and
I wear my badge.
if somebody wants, when you get there, we'll have programs that, can be distributed to attendees. But other than that, I would just encourage you to certainly get a plate, but also kind of mingle, congratulate the honorees. Got some pretty big hitters, so.
Wear your name tag.
Oh, yes, good reminder.
Yeah,
So that's
yes.
a mental note for me, too. I probably would have walked out without
So
that.
they know who you are and you can chat away.
And make sure you're listening for your name too when I call y'all up there to be recognized for your service.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes, you too, Bijou.
I was out there. We know who came late.
And the one thing, just for Kelsey's sake, is the Court Street ramp actually on Court Street when you enter it?
I don't remember. I mean,
I
it's,
kind of think it's
right
on
around the corner
Dubuque
from there,
Street.
though,
You know
so-
where the bus station is, yeah.
Which
But
is
you,
right
but you
there.
enter it, I think, on
I
Dubuque
think, yeah,
Street.
you enter on Dubuque, I thought.
Yeah, you
I
enter
think you're
on
right.
Dubuque, but it's
You
called.
enter on
Court
Dubuque,
Street.
but
Okay.
Yeah.
Just
Thank
so, don't keep going around Court looking for an
Yeah.
entrance, because the exit is on Court, but the entrance is on Dubuque.
Yes, that is correct, yeah.
Thank you.
So yeah, so Ashley and I will be doing all the whole script and awards and remarks and everything, but everybody else gets to come up at least once and say hi and look nice.
My own way.
And then stay for pictures afterwards, because we'll take pictures of the whole commission, since we'll be looking nice, and with the awardees as well. So,
And it's the same photographer as last year, and I thought he did a really good job last year.
yeah, we had some great pictures from the one last
Yeah.
year.
One more question. What's the dress code?
You know,
Dress to impress.
Business casual. I mean, there'll be
it's
some
not
people in
dressed
more
to
formal, anywhere
impress.
from business casual to business formal. You won't be out of place.
Go home, don't change.
Iowa formal casual. Got it.
Yes.
because some of the honorees kind of come pretty.
They come.
They'll come pretty snazzy
They'll come pretty.
sometimes.
Yeah.
It's 7 o'clock in the morning, so
Okay, okay.
Thank you.
they'll be snazzy.
Thanks.
All right, number 10, committee reports. So I believe Stephanie has sent out the minutes or the reports from each of the 3 committees, to us through email. Does anybody want to start from one of them, just kind of walk us through anything, or anything that is specifically that you want the full commission to know, or that you're working on, that you need commitment from, or that kind of thing? I see indications of such. So
First, I want to say that I thought we had an exceptional meeting.
We did.
We did, in terms of just collaborating. Jennifer Horn-Fraser was with us.
She was awesome.
So that's the kind of minutes she took for us and gave us a format. I was a little preemptive in sending it out, but Kelsey caught up because Stephanie made some additions, and maybe you can talk about that, Kelsey, because I haven't really had time to linger with it.
Yeah. I don't know if you've had a chance, it's just appeared in front of you today to
Yep.
review the minutes, but, we, first of all, confirmed that previously we've referred to this subcommittee as Bridging the Gap, but we really do feel like Building Bridges is more representative of the approach and the intention and the ethos there. So you can continue referring to the subcommittee as Building Bridges. The spirit of our discussion was reflecting on our sort of initial charter of liaising with City Council, our last discussion as a subcommittee where we discussed essentially what that misses or what else could be captured in our efforts to collaborate across the city with community leaders, with those across government as well. And so within that, you can see that we have been brainstorming some approaches in creating and crafting some community conversations, frankly, with specific community leaders. So we've got some ideas here about potentially potentially a fireside chat kind of style conversation with the police chief to begin with, or potentially former or current mayor. And then we're going to continue to work on this list of potential community leaders, but we really want your insight on that as well, from your spaces across the community, but also in your subcommittee works with this commission. The additional thing is that we are also interested in proposing an idea about connecting the liaison from each of the subcommittees in how the agendas of our regular Human Rights Commission meetings are developed. So it could even be just really informal by email, or to begin with, we propose maybe it's a small conversation as really a way of marrying something I think we're already doing, but marrying our strategic approaches within the subcommittees with then our discussions like this today. Was there anything else, Bijou or Mark?
No, you.
I was going to add that Bijou contributed how valuable Jim Throgmorton's book was.
Yes.
And-
Please go
and-
get one.
And we're thinking about, do we have any money to buy books?
Yeah, I can get you the book.
Yeah.
Well, because I talked to Jim, I was hoping that he'd give me one. He told me there's 10
to
of them.
sell books. I don't- you're not gonna
10
give-
of them down at Prairie Lights. But,
10?
pardon?
Just 10?
10. Well, he has more than 10.
Oh.
But there's,
Maybe
no,
10
that there are
left at
10
Prairie
at
Lights.
Prairie Lights, but I flinched because they're $39 a pop. It's not in paper, if you get my drift.
Yeah.
It's a textbook. But he articulates, and some of you that were around when he was elected to the council, it was the core.
Go for.
And there were the 4 that were elected to council, and they had a very collaborative style about how we're going to do this. And it's documented then in the book. And Bijou, you want to say more about that?
Yes, I think I like a lot when they came, I don't remember the lady's name. She's in school district. I forgot her name. She's African American.
That did what?
She was a panelist.
Oh, at the
also.
when he did the
Oh,
Yes, the
Cinema
Senate.
Log?
Yes,
Yep.
and Mary, I forgot her last name too. And they were talking about their leadership in the community and their job and what they do. What I appreciate the most is like, as a leader, you have to go into the community, not have the community come to you. You know, that's what's gonna help. Try to understand people. Try to understand the needs by going to them. That's how you're gonna grasp how to make a decision, and that's what he did. In his book, he actually like break it down a lot of stuff, and I was just like, I was too excited. I'm like, oh my God, that's what it is. That's what it is.
But it's that emotional intelligence
Yes,
principle that's operating there.
Please go get his book and read it. Yep. And we also talk about the strategy planning with Jennifer. I mean, talked about, I think it need to be a requirement for anybody that want to serve to take that, not an option, because it helps. Like, and if we can have all the leaders, you know, to take it together, like us, we took it and we had idea of what to do. And if like the mayor, the city council can take it, or the chief of the police and everybody take the strategy that comes together to bring their idea from their department, what they do and what they can do. I think that as a requirement, I think it's a good thing.
And we had fun too. And I think we're expeditious. We did it in an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot. You just summarized it a lot for over an hour.
But I want to go back to Kelsey's question, though. So is that something as a commission we need to discuss about the collaborative effort to creating an agenda? Is it anything in the bylaw? But I know the chair is involved in establishing
Yeah,
agenda.
the chair sets the agenda, but I just suggested to them that we usually post 7 days out. And so to just make sure they touch base with the chair, you know, prior to that, so that we can still keep the agenda posted about 7-10 days out.
And so you'll see within our notes that we want to meet every 30 days, and we want to meet ahead of time so we can contribute. So our next meeting is Saturday, November 5th? I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, it's a week from
It's
Saturday.
early.
Yeah.
That is very early.
Yeah.
Well, I
And
really
this is- we're going to be in person.
Because of our scheduled.
Yeah.
Like
Nice.
everybody, yeah.
You got to meet in person?
Yeah, going all the way.
Yes.
Enough of this zooming.
This is
A mark's
serious.
up.
This is very
No,
serious.
no.
Yes, drinks.
So, of course, if you have any like
Guys.
questions or like if that spurs any thoughts about you know, how we convene ourselves, you know, welcome that. We were just thinking about what is it going to take to put our strategy into action, and also collaboration amongst us. And so, supporting you as our chair and creating that agenda was one thought that came to mind.
Nice.
and whoever the future chair will be. I will say too, I really like what you try to think beyond. I mean, obviously the crux of the original focus was building relationships with council, so that that we can have more of an influence on what they're doing, and then they'll have more trust in us in asking for our advice or opinions on things that fall within human rights. But I really like thinking even beyond that too. So the fireside chat idea is really intriguing. So and. I would envision this is it could take some more fleshing out and a little more work, but I like the police chief's a great one, and I know Chief Liston pretty well, and I think he'd be very open to that. He's been to our meeting several times, and he's very candid and willing to kind of face some questions. I think that'd be a kind of a great series to think about for like City Channel 4 if we did, because they have some featurettes on those kind of things. If it was a couple commissioners in a conversation with the chief of police that we could record and have as
That's a good idea, Jason.
Or bring in the community leader, if you can identify
Right.
community leaders and the chief of the police and the mayor to have a
Yeah, a little
conversation.
round table kind of
a
format,
round table thing,
right.
that would be nice. Yeah.
I like that.
And it can be cross-collaborative across our subcommittees as well. So this was, I think this idea even came up with us reflecting on what we heard from subcommittees in our previous meetings, wanting to work across, asking us if we would work across all the committees as well and create that kind of connection. So, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of synergies there, I think. Anything else on that one, or anything else you needed from us other than just some discussion and input and?
I think for right now, just maybe an awareness that we will have an ask of you in the near term to help us create this list of potential individuals. And again, it's from across the community, so not just those who are on the paycheck of the government of the city of Iowa City, but also those who are clearly a leader within the community. So.
Great. Reciprocal relationships.
That would be me. My two other people are not here, which is Siri and Sylvia. We met actually last Thursday, which was the first time for me to meet with them. I haven't met with them in 2 months since I was gone a lot. We discussed a lot of the stuff that we needed to discuss, which is the how to delegate a member of the commission to be liaison when we start talking about our grant. We know that we usually go through the grant in January, so when we identify the people that will be receiving the grant, that we possibly start delegating who's going to be the liaison, which is not just going to be member of the RRR. We're also going to reach out to other committee as well to see who's interested in being a liaison. And we don't want to put any burden on the grantee, and we don't want to put any burden on the member as well, but we want to make sure that the grant experience it's better, and making sure that letting them know we have resources when they need it. So we're planning to do a meeting in February, probably by Zoom, when we identify the people that will be receiving the grant and try to establish some of that. For the people that who are already in this year's grant, we don't want to abandon them either. So we're probably gonna, we're meeting in November, develop maybe a short survey for them and to see how their process going, how their grant experience going right now, and if there's anything they need from the commission that we can provide. So our next meeting is going to be on November 22nd. So we always try to meet a couple weeks before the commission meeting so we can keep ourselves on task. One of the questions that came up that we needed to bring to the commissioner was how much of involvement does the whole commission need to be if we are deciding on matters that have to be, let's say, for example, we want to create a survey to go to the grantee. Is that something that need to go through the entire commission? What are the parameters? So those are something that we wanted to bring back here. So I don't know if we need a discussion on that.
Well, that's a probably good question. Maybe that's a process question from Stephanie. Is there any formal action that would be needed by the full commission for them to do that unilaterally?
No, I think the subcommittee can just, if they give me the questions, we can use SurveyMonkey.
All right. So subcommittee they can do that.
Yep.
Yeah.
But we are really excited to work on this reciprocal, especially giving the grantee a whole new engaged experience than we have had in the past. And I think it'll open up a lot of more, it'll bring the word out in the community about the grants that we're giving and the work that we want. Another thing that we talk about, usually we cut the grantee a check in June. We want to maybe have a presentation, make a big deal out of it. When we're handing out the grant, maybe have a
like the big check thing, right?
A big check thing, a ceremony, bring in social media so people can see that, as the city, we're giving this grant to those organizations that are doing amazing things in our community. So we don't want it to just, check in the mail, goes out. No, let's make a big deal out of it. Let's really celebrate those organizations. I know usually we get 20 and $500,000 requests, but we have 100,000. Let's talk about why we selected those organizations and make a big deal out of it. Celebrate the work that is happening in our community. So those are some of the things that we discussed. Besides that, it was just catching up, and our next meeting will be on November 22nd, and we are one of the community that we haven't met.
22nd or the 17th?
November 17th, yes, at 4 o'clock. And Jennifer will be coming to that meeting because we haven't met with her, and we already checked with her. She's already on board, so, and we'll go from there.
Cool. Thinking out loud, so I love all that and reaching out. What about the people that don't get grants?
That's a good question. I think we need to reach out to them as well, you know,
Right.
because we usually have a lot more requests than we need money. So to,
Right.
not discourage them.
Right. Is there a way? Is there a way to, because they may not have gotten it because they're new or because they hadn't fully had fleshed out their idea, and or they, we talked about like the quality of the grant writing, that kind of thing too. So I mean, is there a way that we can also one, it's just more organizations to partner with, and that's a bandwidth thing too, which I get, but also to encourage them to continue to request it, or how we can give them some guidance on improving that for next time or something.
That's
like
a
that.
great point. I'll bring it up to the committee, and we'll discuss that.
Cool.
So I would comment about the celebrating the one that won it. I think it's important to kind of talk to them first, because some of them might not want to
Sure.
to do that.
Oh, yeah.
And see if they're comfortable wanting or willing to do that, because then they don't feel like they're obligated to come and just hold a check while you just got this.
That's a good point. Yeah.
No, of course, we'll be the communication.
Recognition can
with them.
backfire when people don't want to be as public
They
about it. I
feel
totally
like-
get that.
Yeah, they don't want it to be public
Yeah.
because they receive so many grants other places, and they just want to just.
Yeah.
But isn't it public
Well,
anyway, though?
if
since
you
Well, it's public
receiving a-
information, but they may
Yes.
not want,
but
for whatever
don't want
reason.
Yes.
the ceremony?
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have to do a big check about the ceremony celebrating that, but if you're receiving public grants, that's public information, so you can't really hide that.
But on
Some
this
people
point,
might not want the pomp.
We'll still say
Yes.
your name at the ceremony. But
We'll still say your name at
if
the
you don't want the
ceremony, that
picture, we don't
Yeah,
need the
we may not have the balloons fall from the
Yeah, we-
ceiling.
there we
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
Because we do publish the list of the people that get it already.
yeah.
Right.
But still, to Bijou, to your point, I think we need to be really mindful of what is significant or impactful, or what is wanted by those who are receiving the grant. So
Yeah.
for example, if it's not necessarily publicity, but it is connection.
Yes.
That is something that we have within our power, especially I was thinking about if we're going to develop this community leaders list, like who else should be there and who else could be invited, and what kind of relationships can we foster that might be of value to these organizations that are being touched by the grant making.
Exactly, yeah.
So kind of thinking about that, and maybe for the subcommittee to think about more. Would be excellent. Yeah, thanks.
But
So I think that's another benefit of the ceremony, right? Is you have the
Hopefully.
different organizations there that are receiving the grant. There's
Right.
a networking element there as well.
Yeah.
And you can even invite those that did not receive
That's
the
what I was
grant
gonna
as
say.
well, to be part of that as
Part of
well,
it,
and so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Said, we had your name. Thank you so much for, even though you didn't receive, but at least you just showed.
well, and that can be almost a bit of a consolation too, to say we that way you still get some recognition, and potentially that's some community awareness, which can lead to further support, right? So that to me that'd be one of the benefits of doing more of a public celebration about for any of them, the ones that got it or not, is that then leads to, if that gets seen in the community, then more people are like, oh, I wasn't even aware that organization existed, or
Exactly.
Right.
or that they were doing this work, and suddenly you were getting some additional funds from
Yeah.
the community that will exponentially help where we're already seeding with public dollars. So
Right.
But all in all, we do not want to create any more burden to the
Yeah.
organization.
Right.
Because, we really want them to focus on doing the work that they're doing the best way they know how to do it. We want to be a resource. We want to be a support. We want to be that liaison for them to connect them to maybe other community leaders that they're not aware of, but we don't want to burden them with any work. They already give us quarterly reports, and we'll be there for them to reach out if needed. So.
I also do appreciate the fact that you'll be checking in with the one that you
Yes.
just give, because then they don't have to contact Stephanie, be like about this question, but you'll be there to talk to them, and then they can speak to you personally. So
Yeah,
yeah, just more of a personal connection all the way around.
it is. It's just building that reciprocal relationship.
Excellent.
Great.
Thank you.
And breaking bread. So I'll let Ashley take the lead on this one, since she did most of the really all the work in this particular case.
I did work. So yeah, we have just continued to work on our tasks that we've previously discussed with the full commission. There was some confusion initially as I was reaching out to ICPD about who had been in charge of the Coffee with the Cop events, since that is something that we are hopefully, fingers crossed, going to get to try and emulate in the form of Coffee with the Commission. I was able to connect this morning, thankfully, with Sergeant Andrew McKnight, and we had a lovely discussion about Coffee with the Cop, and actually got to delve into the equity part of it, which was really fantastic for me. So just some of the details I got from them, they have not done, I wasn't aware, they haven't done a Coffee with a Cop event actually since the pandemic began. They put that all on pause, and part of the reason they said they did that was because they wanted to be very intentional about safety for public health reasons, which I thought was great that they had an awareness of that and were keeping that top of mind. And we had talked as a subcommittee about equity in access for the event. Something that ICPD did with these events previously were that they had one staff member that was reaching out to various venues in the community and essentially trying to broker relationships with them to be host venues for these events. So they would choose a different coffee house in a different part of town so they'd get access to different subsections of the community, which I thought was fantastic that they were moving all those things around, and sort of fits in with our discussions that we've had about making sure wherever we have it, any of these events where we're trying to engage the community are all over the place and give lots of different folks within the community access. As an expectation, when we do call on folks to volunteer to partake in these events, they said that they've found success in having 2 to 3 cops there generally. And they said that as folks went around, obviously with just patrol schedules, all that fun stuff, sometimes folks on patrol would pop in, but I would anticipate probably anywhere from 2 to 3 commissioners would probably be an ideal number for any of those events. 1 to 2 hours was what they said was usually a good amount of time for them. After that, I mean, most folks are just kind of, since they have the host venue portion of it too, they didn't want to overstay their welcome and stick within the constraints that they'd established with the venues. And the last thing I spoke with Sergeant McKnight about was cost, because that was a big thing that we wanted to be mindful of. If we're going to try and be truly equitable, we don't want to burden attendees with a cost to participate. They had said because of their arrangement they had with host venues, a lot of the time, because they're for-profit businesses, folks did have to pay for their own cup of drink, whatever they wanted. But they had actually had some existing relationships with folks where on the rare occasion there was a venue that was willing to supply X amount of coffee that then folks could enjoy as a part of the event before having to pay to participate. So I think that this is something worth looking into, especially with our funding that we get each year. I would like to be able to have us provide coffee enough, hopefully, for all the folks there. We had a lovely discussion, too, about how as we get into the colder months, we shouldn't let that discourage us, and that coffee or cocoa with the commission, both of those sound lovely. So, yeah, I just had a fantastic discussion with Sergeant McKnight. I was very thankful for his willingness to really dive into that with me. And I look forward to us having further updates on it as we move forward. I think we'll probably start to discuss details at our next subcommittee meeting for that.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions or comments on committees? This is some good work.
Is my question will be, when you're talking about coffee or drink with the commissioner, are you going to be inviting commissioner from other committee as well?
That is a great question. I think the original intention had been the Human Rights Commission, just because folks, part of the thing we were trying to address was the fact that so many folks still don't know we have a Human Rights Commission. Yep. And so this was a way to be able to connect with the public, raise that awareness. If we find we have success with this event, in my personal opinion, I don't see any reason why it couldn't expand to potentially include other commissions.
Yeah.
I think that'd be a great idea. We've got, 20-some boards and commissions with the city? And I think a lot of folks aren't aware of most of those, if any.
Well, while you were talking about, and earlier we talked about your partnership with the TRC, that might be good partnerships.
Yeah. I agree.
Raj, are you asking the other commissioner to promote what they do or come to know about human rights?
Or the commissioner to know as well that we're having those things, so they can
That's the
also
thing,
come
that's
and
what I was
participate.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Maybe an idea, and then they can maybe start doing something like that.
Yeah.
But at
Absolutely.
least when we're having those event schedule, if we can share with other city commission.
Oh, yeah.
With other
That's
city
good.
departments, yeah, that's a good idea.
Great comment. Anything else? All right. Agenda item
More
number
gravy,
11.
Yes.
So I will set this up a little bit. I'll throw it to Doug too. So Stephanie sent this out in email as well, so I hope you've had a chance to look at it. If not, it's in your packet. This is a statement that was initiated by Doug when in response to, if you hadn't seen the article, it was a protest. I think that's using that word. During drag story time at the library, and you could, and I'll say thank you to Doug for initiating this. I had read the article and hadn't myself put two and two together. That's something that we should respond to, and I think it absolutely is in the realm of things that we should be making a public comment about. And he put out an initial draft that Ashley and I both have done a little bit of editing and wordsmithing and those kind of things, but the most of the language is Doug's. So I will hand over to him to kind of walk us through maybe what initiated this for you and what we're looking at. And
Jason,
with
is
the
the document that we have what you and Ashley worked on?
yes, yeah, that is the edited version from our collaboration.
Yeah. So what you have in front of you is the edited version. I thank Ashley and Jason for helping with that, as seeing what the commission has done before and things like that. So thank you very much for helping draft this. But no, it was something that when I saw in the Press Citizen and thought this is not something that we should condone in Iowa City. It was disruptive, disrespectful, and intimidating at a children's event. So it was something that I thought, this is one of the reasons that I wanted to be on this commission, was to be able to speak out against things like this and to speak up for the community and marginalized folks within the community. So with that, hopefully you've had a chance to read it. And if you have any questions or suggestions or comments, we can.
I have a comment, which I read the statement and I replied to Doug that I thought it was really great. I don't know if you guys saw the Press Citizen today, which there were a couple more articles
On this topic?
On this topic.
Oh, I know, I hadn't seen that. I
haven't seen it today,
in Eugene, Oregon, and by this time the protesters actually had guns with them. So there's actually a trend that happening in the country, that people protesting the drug story time. And I get it that this one in Oregon, it was not happening in the library, but it was at the local pub where they support this, and it was gonna be performances and story time. So this is very concerning, that if this is the trend that we're having gun at the children event, I think it's more intimidation than it is a protest. So I appreciate Doug taking a lead on this one, and I like this statement, and I don't have anything to change in it. So.
I think that, everybody has the right to want to do what they want to do, but for me, it's like, kids is off limits because they're learning to grow to understand how to live. And then if you're parents and you're processing, are you protecting your own child? I don't know. To me, as if you're a parent, why would you go and do that?
No, I'm with you. I mean, one of the things that we talked about too, and one of the few edits that I made was to move that up to the front, which was that if there's disagreement with that type of programming, this is a voluntary event that parents have chosen to bring their kids to.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So if that's not your cup of tea, then don't attend. It seems like a pretty simple answer to me, that obviously that was not the choice that was made by the people that
Stephanie,
chose to
were any
attend.
laws violated?
Not that I'm aware of.
No law will
So I'll say,
violate.
according to the dive into it that the press citizen took, there were no laws violated. It sounded like it skirted what might have been appropriate for policy with the library due to some of the language and
Okay.
reactions of the protesters to the performance, but outside of that, it seemed legal.
Although they were asked to leave and refused, but they stood off to the side. But it wasn't just outside the library. They went in
In
and
the
stood
program.
in the room during the event, and
Yeah.
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 I think
One
it's
of-
really, go ahead, Mark.
I may have, Doug, did I see your original when I commented?
No, I don't think so. I think what was sent out was this
Yeah,
version.
what was sent
yeah,
out is this
yeah.
version.
So one of the things.
Only
I was-
Jason and
I'm-
Ashley got to see the sausage being made on this one.
One of the things I really appreciate in the whole idea of DEI, but I noticed in the second to the last paragraph, as other events that promote diversity, inclusivity, and belonging, and I want to remind you that it's diversity, equity, and then what I thought was brilliant is inclusivity is belonging. And so we usually say DEI, but now we've got DEB. And I think the belonging is more accessible to people in terms of what we mean by inclusive. And so I'm glad the belonging stayed in there. I think that inclusivity should be replaced with equity.
I will lightly and gently and respectfully push back on that. And
Bring it.
This is the reason why. So this reminds me of a lot of discussions about the difference between equality and equity
Yep.
and our shift in our language with that. When we talk about, I think belonging could potentially replace inclusivity, but I don't think they're the same thing necessarily. When we talk about inclusivity, it's making sure the folks are in the room, that they're invited, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're welcome or that they're accepted.
Or
And
they
so that's
belong.
the belonging piece, making sure that they're both welcomed and accepted into the room, not just invited into the
So
room.
why was equity removed? And this is teaching moment conversation.
I don't know if
because
equity was removed.
It's not in that
So,
paragraph.
Mark,
It's
you're
not in there.
asking that we add
I
equity.
was going to say, we could certainly add equity.
That's a friendly
You know,
amendment, that's true.
I had this great conversation with Tanaya Davis and Megan Gustafson. And Tanaya was teaching me about what equity is,
Yeah,
that she needs a stool.
yeah.
And it was just a really beautiful. So I'd say let's add in diversity, equity,
That's-
inclusivity, and belonging. I'm good.
Yes.
I don't think you're going to get any objection on that one.
Kelsey
That,
was-
that is a good point. Actually, the difference between equity and equality and
DEI and B.
DEI and B.
Well,
You
yeah, this
included
equality,
and-
equity thing, that's dealt with very, very effectively. Thanks.
It is.
Kelsey, you were going to say something?
I appreciate your point, but I think I just wanted to offer my wholehearted support for this, and I think part of that is I think it's really important to call a spade, if I can use that kind of language. There is an effort of anytime that someone, any group of people, any individual is reductive and reducing one aspect of someone's identity and attacking them for that, we can call that identity-based violence. And so I think violence isn't physical acts of harm, things that can be prosecuted. It is also intimidation. It is also demonstrating you don't belong here, you're not part of our community, we don't believe in this. And so I think I'm really glad to see this act against an identity-based form of violence, and appreciate any effort that we can continue to do to follow up on this and support our community. So thanks, Doug.
Thank you.
Any other comments or?
I just want to say one thing. I don't know if Roger know this. In my language, it said, "Don't come in my house to tell me what to do in my house unless you know what goes on in my house." You know, so for people to just, I don't mind knocking on my door, trying to get to know me, or trying to figure out why my music is loud. But don't come in to tell me what I need to do. You know, you can request, you can ask, or you can pretend you didn't hear it.
it sounds much more beautiful when you say it in your language. So when you change things in English,
Would you say it? Would you say it in your
just
language? I want to
loses
hear
a little
the
bit of-
original. I won't
a little bit of
understand it.
sassiness that gets lost.
I'm sorry, I was just trying to translate.
No, that's good.
But it's good. It's good.
All right.
I
Well,
suppose then that this, because it's been presented by Doug and Jason and Ashley have had a chance at it, that it's before us to vote on it?
yes. So this is on the agenda for us to vote on issuing this as a statement, as we have done with past ones.
With
Well,
any
I'm
potential
thinking-
amendments we
Yes.
propose
Which
at
we
this
have the
meeting.
one, right? So that would be as amended. Yep.
I'm thinking, Doug, as the author of this, you probably would like to go on record and motion, Doug?
Absolutely, yeah. So I will motion that we approve the statement as amended with the equity added. Yep.
Second.
I would second that.
And Roger seconds it. All in favor of the statement as amended, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Added volume.
Pass unanimously as well. Very good.
So this will be going on one of the
Yeah.
publication.
Yeah, I'll, Doug, can you send me the updated one with the minor revision?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I'll get it on the commission's website and then send it to communications.
Awesome.
Okay.
Thank you.
Will it go to the Press Citizen, or is there an
So,
option to add that as an op-ed?
I'm pretty confident that the Press Citizen subscribes to the city's news releases.
Yes, they do.
I'm sure they
So,
will
I mean,
pick it up.
if you want to take that extra step, you certainly could if you just wanted to do a personal kind of response to them directly, but I'm pretty,
And I have a list
Okay.
of media contacts too, so if you just wanted to send a link directly to
Oh, that'd be great.
DI, that kind of stuff, I can get you those.
Perfect.
They get it and
Yeah.
then they choose which one
Yeah,
to.
yeah. They'll obviously, pick how they want to cover it, and
Yeah.
and most of them won't, print it in full. They'll take experts, say that we've issued this and link to it or something like that, and take a quote or two from it. But
And
And I would encourage you guys, if you haven't read the Press Citizen today, go read that article about the
is it Oregon? You
pop
said?
drug protester.
Yeah.
And I printed out. It's heartbreaking because as a parent, I'm bringing my child to something that I think it's gonna add value to their life. So, and to have people outside and even coming inside protesting to that level that you start intimidating my kids, then it's so.
Yeah.
Thank you, Doc.
I was just going to add to, as you're looking at the formal media opportunities, even what informal spaces there are too. So like, what are the opportunities for a statement like this to reach the people who are also impacted by it, so they can see that,
Yeah.
like, we as representatives of our community don't stand for that action. We stand for these actions instead, and how we describe it. In
Yeah,
those ideas. Eloquently described.
I would very much hope that the participants in that event would have an opportunity to see this.
Well,
So-
maybe reaching out to the public
Oh,
library.
yeah, maybe to the
and then
library
They
so
can share it.
Yeah.
Okay. Absolutely.
Agenda item number 12. So this is our November meeting would be our fourth Tuesday of the month would fall on the week of Thanksgiving. So is there any thought to? I want to get kind of availability for that. So if that is not a good day, so which it might not be for many, because I know a lot of people take that full week off or maybe out of town or traveling to see family or friends, is there an interest in trying to find an alternate date for that meeting?
First, I want to say it works out fine for me, just so you know.
It works out fine for me too. Because, Thanksgiving is actually
The 24th.
the 24th.
So this will be Tuesday.
days
This will be
after.
the Tuesday of Thanksgiving week is when
Yep.
it was be scheduled for.
And our meeting is supposed to be on the 22nd.
Correct.
Yes.
It works out for me. I'm not traveling.
But if
I'm
you wanna
actually-
move it, if somebody-
I'm hosting, but it's.
Well, let's ask it the other way. Is there anybody that has a hard conflict with that date?
I do.
Kelsey, okay.
But I am taking a belated honeymoon, so I'll be out for a couple of weeks in November. So
Okay.
All right, congratulations.
Well,
you.
that may answer the second question, because I was going to say, if we had an alternate date, it would probably be the following Tuesday, but you may be gone for that as well, if that's true.
I believe I will be in town the following Tuesday, but I think it's such that if the date works for everyone else, it's okay. I can look at the agenda ahead of time. I can offer feedback. My subcommittee can report on our behalf. I think that's really the
Sounds like a good excuse to me. What you're doing.
Looks like
Hopefully it's somewhere warm.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Other side of the world, so it'll
Oh,
be nice.
Nice.
wonderful.
Very nice.
So is there anyone else that has an objection to
I'm also out of town that Tuesday.
that too? Okay.
Yeah, it looks
Well,
like-
that's
Well, that's two. We need at
five.
least 5.
Yeah.
So are these 5 people over here
1, 2,
gonna be here
three.
because we're gonna need a
Yeah.
quorum?
Doug. Would you be available on the 29th if we pushed it a week?
29th.
The following Tuesday.
Yes, I would be available then.
I'd
You
rather
would?
not.
Yeah.
And Kelsey thinks you said that
I
probably.
believe so. There's a chance I might not be able to make it, but I believe I could do the
Okay.
29th, yeah.
So we might now have Kelsey and Bijou and Mark. The 29 does not work for you.
Yeah, I think.
Okay.
So then we lose 3.
Okay, well, given that, I think it sounds like our best bet might be to keep it on the 22nd, and we'll just have that's probably our best bet at quorum, and then we'll hopefully have to ask Sylvia too to see if she's going to be present. So,
Yeah.
because we're just
Sylvia will be heading to London for a long trip, so I don't know. My thing, I'm gonna encourage everybody when Stephanie sends out the invite, please let her know if you're gonna make it or not. So
Yeah.
make sure that we have a quorum.
okay. So no change to the November 22nd meeting.
And it would be nice to have a meeting in November just because we usually kind of have a plaque
Yes,
acknowledgement of, a plaque, I guess, giveaway to those commissioners who are leaving.
Yes.
Who have served their terms and kind of thank them for their services, not kind of, we thank them for their services. And wish
Yes.
them well in their future endeavors. And so it would be nice because without that, then those will just get
Done.
mailed to them, so.
I agree. So
Good.
because we don't have a meeting in December.
That's right. So we
was
typically
gonna say,
don't
yeah,
have a
we
meeting in
usually
December.
don't meet in
Yep.
December.
So that our November meeting is typically our last one for the year,
Yep.
and for our January one, which then gets busy with grants. So,
Yep.
all right, announcements. So I'll start with staff this time. So Josh, anything?
We've got few few events going on. Last Saturday I was at it's called like a Halloween carnival. It was just across from the street, so it was like an event where the kids come, like giving out candies and stuff. And I was there with an officer. So it was very great moment, having kids with autism coming during those first hours and, kind of hanging out with them.
Well, this is the
And-
sensory event, right? Is that what that was? I
No,
think
it
I read
was
about.
Halloween Carnival was on it was
Halloween
on Saturday,
Carnival.
the
Halloween Carnival
21st.
at the rec center.
Okay.
It was by the rec center, so. And we have upcoming parade. I won't be there, but we have few people, some patrols will be there. So this is like a very big event,
Homecoming parade?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, oh, yes. That's
Gonna
big.
be, it's going to be very busy, traffic and everything. So, just keep that in mind. I think we share that to our social media page as well, just people to be aware, it's going to be very huge traffic during that day. So, and that's just the next day, Saturday, the 29th, we have trunk or treat. So it's same thing with Halloween stuff. I won't be there. Saturday midnight will be there, so it's gonna be over by Pizza Ranch. If you have time, stop by, bring kids. We're planning on bringing candies and stuff, so we spend a lot of money for that. We gotta spend them, right? So we don't wanna.
We spend money. You can take advantage of it. Come get some candy.
I don't eat candy like that, I don't like candy, so I don't
You
wanna.
don't like candy?
I don't eat it like that. So once in a while, So yeah, it's gonna be a great moment hanging out with kids. So if you have time, feel free to bring kids. Enjoy the moment. So
What time is that?
That's what I have. So it's gonna start from 4, going all over. So I don't know what time it's gonna end, but that's when we're planning on being there.
Trunk or treat.
Yes.
That's on Saturday, you said.
Yeah, Saturday.
Saturday.
So we're
We're
gonna
handing
have.
out candies. you
Yes,
say.
giving out candies. We spend a lot of money for that.
So bring kids or go yourself to get your candy.
Right, fair enough.
If you were kids, you bring more candy to get for yourself. Is that what you're thinking?
Yes.
Well, you forgot something. He got married. I know you didn't invite me. That's why I'm putting you.
Josh got married?
Congratulations.
Is that a thing? Okay, all right.
Because you posted.
Oh, okay, all right.
Don't feel pressure. You don't have to invite anyone.
Fair enough. Well,
when was the wedding?
so the wedding in Africa happened on the 15th of this month, so about 2 weeks, 1 week I would say actually. And then our celebration is gonna be happening here over in Cedar Rapids, so it's gonna be October 29th. I'm a little excited for that.
So you haven't even happened yet.
No, like he knows what I'm talking.
So yes, that's when we're gonna celebrate that here. And
The 29th for trunk or treat?
And it's still.
That's why
I won't be. Yeah, I won't be coming for
That's
that.
why that's why he's on a trunk or
That's why
treat.
he's
He's got a bigger deal. Congratulations.
Oh yeah, thank you. It's a good moment. I didn't know that you
Where's
knew.
my invitation?
So,
I was going to, and we'll meet.
Josh,
up here.
don't feel pressure to invite her.
She knows me, and
She can go to trunk or treat.
We are community.
well, she can go and then come later, right? It's gonna be by 6 or 7 p.m. So
It's like she's inviting herself. Don't fall for it.
We are
all
community leaders. We work together.
yeah, I saw where I got.
This is going to go down really fast. I'm going to just bang the gavel here. Stephanie, what do you have?
I don't have anything, but thank you.
So you had plenty because we're going to see you in the morning, and
We'll see you in the morning.
Yes.
yeah, and all the work that you've done to make that happen. So
Thank you.
you'll get lots of thank yous, but yay.
As always, you are the best.
Yeah,
And I
she
mean,
is.
Thank you.
Commission, anybody have anything for announcements for the group?
well, I went to the mayor's wedding this weekend,
It was fantastic.
which it was fantastic. It was like a 2-day full event starting on Friday, and it was, with the luncheon and the rehearsal. I was actually in the wedding. So the mayor had 3 best men, so I was one of them. So he deserved that. We have 3 best men. So it was just an amazing, and it was, to see our first openly gay black mayor and my best friend to get married in a city that I love so much. It was an amazing event. The church was packed with a lot of people from previous city council members, and it was just an amazing event. And the reception was even great. I ran into Ashley and her beau over there, and we were all very dapper, so it was good.
Wait, is this your first time coming back since you came back in town?
Yeah.
Oh, you got married?
Yeah, I was telling people earlier, you just were not here. You were late. Yes, I got married. Also, it was actually a month from the mayor getting married. So they were supposed to get
So you beat him to it, right? You do have to hold it around.
our original plan. They were supposed to get married on April 18, 2020, and we were supposed to get married on November 9th. So it was kind of like 3 weeks away, and both weddings got canceled because of the pandemic. So then we eloped. We decided to elope. So yeah, so we got married a month apart. So
Still waiting for the party here.
talk about
Another
all right. Yes,
Wait.
we have a party, Bijou.
Well, you mentioned the wedding. That you used the word amazing. I didn't hear awesome.
Oh, it was awesome and
Because-
amazing.
yeah, okay,
It
okay.
was. It was a true definition of what I call love and happiness.
Good.
We danced the night away, and it was amazing. It was awesome and amazing. So that's my sharing right there.
Okay. Anybody else?
Well, Roger covered the wedding, so I guess I won't talk about that. It was awesome and amazing, though. Very, very beautiful ceremony, and was happy to celebrate with both grooms.
Yep.
I went to the first of our 2 LGBTQ History Month events that Stephanie and the department organized, and I thought it was fantastic. Just barely managed to squeeze it in between meetings and class that day, but it was wonderful. I'd highly recommend going and checking out. I know that we couldn't record it because that was not something the guest speaker was okay with, but I'm sure that he has content out there somewhere on the internet that y'all could go look at, because I thought he did just a fantastic job speaking on the topic and bringing to light more of the LGBTQ history that we don't often hear about. So was very impressed with how that event went. I don't think I really have anything else. I'm sure I'm forgetting something, but I got nothing right now.
I got stuff.
You got stuff.
Well, I went to the mountain and learned about land acknowledgement, but the thing that I gave you on your sheet, the last paragraph, is the land acknowledgement for Oakland by Speak Out. And I want you to see how it rolls, because it includes more. And I think that's an important awareness. And as you look at this, you think, oh, Oakland, you could do more here. And so we could do more. It was just a real nice awakening. And yeah, Megan Redshirt Shaw was her name. Red Shoe Shaw. The other thing I remind you about, the University of Iowa Center for Human Rights has lots and lots of good stuff on it. Today, again, they reran the thing about guns and racism. I'd seen it once before, so I didn't watch again today. Kofre Atuk, I'm guessing on her name, she interviewed me about one of the recipients. She's a freshman at the University of Iowa, and she wanted to know about the Kamel Award that we gave to Jocelyn Williams. And it was just a privilege to meet her, and I'm interested in seeing. She said she'd send me what she put together after her editor saw it. So Siri and I were going to do that, but I knew Siri was busy and couldn't. So, but that was before Siri decided to resign. A dimension of my life that you probably don't realize: when you're a retired pastor, funeral homes call you, and when you're like an old war horse, they call you, like me, they call me for the hard ones, okay? And when you prepare to do this, or when I prepare to do this, I go into a holy space. And on the 8th of September, I was preparing for a 3 o'clock funeral. It was 11 o'clock in the morning. I was very vulnerable, and my computer got hacked. It got hacked badly because I know that I'm a digital immigrant, and my daughter gave me that language. So I lost everything. I became vulnerable to the hacker. Leslie called the computer guy, and we yanked it. He finally, my guy came on a week later to wipe it, so I have nothing. I'm seeing a counselor because I felt assaulted, because I was so vulnerable while I was doing that. So it's still not over for me. And I'm looking at Kelsey because she understands assault and violence. So I had to get myself together enough to take care of this family on that afternoon. Anyway, just the big old white guy got punched in the gut. So I'm healing. And I so looked forward to being with you guys. I just love the embrace and love and affirmation that happens in this group. It's really, really healthy. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing.
Could just kind of, Mark, I appreciated your comments and even how you started with really highlighting for us this last paragraph from Oakland, from Speak Out about Oakland. And I think I just want to highlight it because one of the things in my work is that wherever we have seen a genocide previously occur, that is one of the highest risk factors of where it will occur again. Because we never fundamentally address the issues that led to the genocide in the first place.
That's right.
And so here in what we know as the United States now, we've had a history of 2 genocides. And so I think this statement recognizes that, that here within the land that we know now, 2 genocides occurred. Related to that, I just wanted to mention, I haven't seen any announcements for dates, activities, locations yet, but around this time last year, the Great Plains Action Society hosted a Truthsgiving. And so this is also led by Sequoia Snowbeast. And so I think just keep your eyes open, and I might share it around if I do see any activities around this. And really that Truthsgiving is an effort to counter the mythical sort of storytelling about pilgrims and native peoples of the United States, and instead telling the true story, really sitting with that truth as well, and even celebrating aspects of the truth of Indigenous peoples within Turtle Island. I only have somber things today. I'm really sorry. I just wanted to recognize too, in my last comment, that over the weekend, Iowa City had its first homicide of 2022. You might have seen in the announcements. I won't make comment about that just because I don't understand the investigations. I don't understand, but I do know, and what I do understand is that data is very significant for us when we talk about our violence within our cities. And not only is it a data point, but it's a person point. And all of the people that were affected by arriving at that scene, whether they were involved in that scene, whether they were responding to that scene in a professional sense, whether they dealt with that after the fact, whether they're still continuing to deal with that now, and the ripple effect that has in our community. So I just wanted to elevate that, recognize that, and mention that. Thanks.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
I can go.
Yeah.
I know I want to apologize, Josh, about the wedding.
Oh, you're fine.
Still invite me though, but
Can you do me a favor and speak into the microphone?
the city of Coralville.
Bijou, can you put your mic on the mic?
Oh, sorry. The city of Coralville has started a program called the Community Ambassador Program. They identified different community leaders that live in Coralville to come together and try to help the community to identify what the needs are, so they can help. And they print out a lot of resources, what to do. So I'm honored to. I don't live in Coralville, but because of what I do for the city of Coralville, they allow me to be part of that program, which is a great program that's led by, I forgot her name. She's a coordinator for the library in Coralville, and also city council. Hey, is that hey? Hi.
Hi.
Hi. Yes. She's also the one that's leading it. So I'm very, very excited, and I hope we have something like that. I mean, we already have a lot of stuff in Iowa City. I'm really, really excited to see Coralville is actually doing that, and hopefully North Liberty and Tiffin will actually do that too. Yeah, that's all I have.
Anyone else? I have one, and then I'll, which is it just reminded me of this morning. So you may have seen I posted on social media that I got asked to be the featured speaker at the Veterans Day ceremony in my hometown of Fairfield on November 11th, which was a surprise. I got a call this morning kind of out of the blue, and I was recommended by a few people that I'm friends with still there. It's also where I serve, so my National Guard armory is in Fairfield, so I get to go back to my hometown on weekends and see that stuff too. But I was thinking about what I was going to say, and I thought it might be something good to share. Is that so? Veterans Day will happen, but between now and our next meeting, it's a protected class, if you will, or a group of people that I don't think we talk about enough. And when it comes to to our meetings and some of the things that we do, it's veterans have higher rates of homelessness, mental illness, substance abuse, suicide, all those things, and it's in some of the ways that we treat our veterans or as a society or not, I'm disappointed in. So one thing I'd encourage everybody to do, and that's what I'm going to. The speech I'm going to give is at the high school, and it'll be for the whole student body. So it's a full assembly, and then it's open to the public as well. So it's going to be mostly high school students in the high school that I attended, and that. One is to be aware of that, but two, I'm privileged to wear a uniform, and when I do, and it's on a part-time basis, and when I do, we're out in the public a lot. So my particular job is, very much interacting with the public, and so I get to see a lot more people than most people in uniform do, and it never gets old to hear somebody thank me for my service, right? And sometimes that is very much in a passing way, and it's that's still appreciated that somebody goes out of their way to do that. What I will encourage the kids to do, and what I would encourage all of you to do, is that, especially for the veterans that that wear that on their sleeve, and many of them do, they're not hard to find. They will, they wear the hats and they wear their insignias, and even and carry camouflage bags and those kind of things too. And I'm going to encourage them, those students, to say, in addition to thanking them for their service, is to ask the next question is, tell me about it. And share your stories and be with them, because many of them have stories that they're both proud of, as well as that they still struggle with, and both of those should be honored and talked about. So when we get to Veterans Day and there's the kind of obligatory kind of celebration of that, which is welcomed, go beyond the token thanking for your service, and ask a little more and try to get to know a little more about what that service actually was and what you're really being thankful for. So,
I'm sorry, can I just add one thing?
Yes.
I forgot. I think the end of last month and this month, there's been a lot of, when you talked about homelessness.
Do you mind putting them?
Sorry. Some families, you can see them at Walmart, close to Walmart, still like homeless. I think they're from Afghanistan. I want to appreciate to all the organization that stepped up so far to kind of assist them, but it's like family, a mom and a dad and kids, and sometimes it's just kids. They're all over Coralville, Iowa City, other places. So I think they're from Afghanistan, but they're homeless. And as an immigrant, seeing that in this country, that they are on the streets and they don't have a place to stay, it's very, very sad. So just be aware of that.
anything else?
Thank you.
Yeah. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Moved by Roger.
Second.
Seconded by Ashley. All in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We are adjourned.